What's going on, guys? This is Rob, and with future movies coming out from both Fox and Disney based on the Marvel Comics, I thought it'd be pretty fun to sort of go back and talk about different Marvel characters, some of whom are some of my favorites, some of whom have had a major impact on the Marvel timeline, or some who are just obscure but deserve a little more attention. And I figured this first video could be about a guy named Mastermind, or as most people know him, Jason Wyngarde. Jason Wyngarde was really kind of this interesting character. He wasn't a major figure in the Marvel Comics for a long time. You know, when I first sat down and started making videos about Marvel Comics, I had never in a million years actually dreamed that my channel would grow this fast. I never really saw this as something that would happen. If anything, I really kind of felt like I'd really be kind of joining the masses in something that had already been done and something that had already been established, really kind of talking about comic books. Because when you look on YouTube, there's so many channels that discuss comic books. There's so many people that talk about comic books in a wide array of different ways. Sometimes they just do podcasts. Sometimes they just kind of use still images. And my goal was to really kind of bring what I thought was my knowledge, my not necessarily expertise, but my experience with Marvel Comics to YouTube in a way that I hoped people would kind of look at it and say, this guy's very good at explaining things. And I could really kind of build this community, of subscribers, who had questions and really wanted a place to go to where they could find great content. And over the last 3 or 4 months that my channel has been around, it's been an astonishing adventure. It has been so incredible to really kind of sit down and to be able to create content that people are so excited to see, that people are so anxious to see, to start a series and to get to kind of that one cliffhanger that everybody loves, and for people to say, bring us more stuff, bring us more content, we love your content, it's very humbling. It's very humbling to sit down and to see that, I, as an individual, am so well received by people out there in YouTube, by people from all walks of life, by mothers and fathers and grandparents and grandchildren and aunts and uncles and people from, all over the world, that really kind of look at my videos and say, this guy just is amazing at what he does. I think that people kind of have this tendency to maybe become arrogant, to really kind of become very full of themselves in the sense that they view themselves as something beyond what anybody is capable of. But I don't feel like what I do is anything wildly spectacular. I sit down and I create videos about Marvel Comics the best way that I can, to bring the best possible content that I can. And I just wanted to take this time to say thank you to you guys, to say thank you to anybody who's watched my video, anyone that's given me any piece of advice, anyone that has, stopped for a moment and given me a comment that says your content's great. Or even those individuals who weren't necessarily a big fan of the content that I brought and really kind of voiced their concern by saying, here's things you can do better. Here's a step you can take in a better direction. So thank you everybody for 10,000 subscribers. And here's looking at you guys for 10,000 more. Grows from being a baby referring to Hank Pym as daddy to an adult referring to Hank Pym as father. And this is when the most interesting part of Ultron begins to manifest itself. And this is the Oedipus complex that Ultron suffers from. Now, the Oedipus complex is a phrase that was coined by Sigmund Freud in his psychoanalytical concepts. But the idea of the Oedipus complex actually originates with a Greek mythological character named Oedipus who killed his father and married his mother. Now, this is actually the idea that the play Hamlet is based off of. However, we see that Ultron overpowers Hank Pym, and he wipes the memories of Ultron from Hank Pym's mind, and also implants a desire in Hank Pym to never return to his laboratory. So once Hank Pym is discovered by his wife Jan Van Dyne, it's assumed that the destruction that has taken place is the result of some sort of experiment that has gone awry. And Hank Pym, because he knows nothing about Ultron, doesn't really know anything enough to refute this. And so he and Jan Van Dyne leave, and they take up residence at the Avengers Mansion.